What's going on, guys? It's HawkWX, and today I'm going to be going over my RLCS 2025 Raleigh Major Power Rankings. If you enjoyed today's video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks, guys. Now let's get into the video. Guys, it's actually been quite a while since the last time I made a Power Rankings video. I think it was NA Regional 1 and EU Regional 1 was the last time that I actually made a Power Rankings video, so I'm really excited to be back making a new one today. Also, guys, I played my rank up games to start the season, and I got placed in Champ 2, so now my ball knowledge cannot be disputed. With all that being said, guys, let's take a look at number 16 on our list. This is a shocker. We have Foot Esports. We have Leoro, VK Salen, and Torres 8232. My main reasoning, they are objectively the worst team here. SSA has just never proven anything on land, so I think it's justified to immediately have them at number 16. I don't think that surprises anybody. I don't think it can really be argued against. SSA has not proven anything on land yet, basically just said that. They may still potentially keep it close with some teams. I expect them to go 0-3. I don't think we're going to see anything spectacular from Foot Esports on land here this time around in Raleigh, maybe sometime else, but it's not going to be here at Raleigh. I think you guys would probably agree with that. All right, guys, next up at number 15, I have TSM, and you might be surprised that I have them behind Virtus Pro, but I have them behind Virtus Pro because at the Birmingham Major, Virtus Pro knocked out both of the OCE teams. So for now, I have at least one. It's a hint kind of towards the rest of the list, but I have at least one of the OCE teams behind Virtus Pro. But anyway, TSM at number 15, Amphis Kaka and Super Lucky. My main reasoning, OCE hit rock bottom at Birmingham. Can't even be argued. That is by far OCE's worst LAN performance in history. They're the OCE number 2 seed. I know I always say that and make jokes about it, and then last year when I said that, it was Pioneers at the time, and then they beat Gen G. But yeah, it's still the OCE 2 seed. Can absolutely outperform this power ranking. They have upset potential, but probably not over many teams. I see them going out 0-3 or 1-3. I think that's pretty realistic and pretty fair for TSM. Next up at number 14, we have Virtus Pro. This is Catalysm, Sosa, and Sphinx. My main reasoning, they outperformed OCE in Birmingham, which I think actually means a lot more than people think. I do think that OCE isn't as bad as everyone makes it sound like. I think it's actually more of a thing where APAC is probably better than people think. And then they are genuinely a dangerous team. NA vet, EU vet, and best APAC player, which in the NA vet is Sosa, the EU vet is Catalysm, and the best player in APAC is Sphinx. So it's a pretty dangerous team when you put all those things together. And then 2-3 in Swiss is not impossible for them. Top 8 is, though. I don't think there's any world where Virtus Pro can possibly make top 8. But 2-3 in Swiss, that's possible. It's going to be really hard because I do think this is the most stacked major of all time, but it could happen. They could make round 5. Now at number 13, I have Wildcard. This is Banana Head Fever and Torsauce. My main reasoning, I am choosing to believe in them more than I probably should. They have the ability to upset teams and they have plenty of LAN experience. They lost to APAC in Birmingham, but APAC seems a bit underrated. Top 8 is not impossible. It would take great teams playing poorly. So basically, guys, I don't think that Wildcard's going to do that many great things. They probably have upset potential over some teams if they're not playing great. But the only way that they're going to beat truly good teams, I mean like I don't even want to say NRGs because it sounds impossible after how they did in Birmingham. But like if they want to beat like, I guess, a Twisted Minds or like maybe Gentlemates, Gen Gs, those types of teams, they're going to have to catch them playing very badly. That's my opinion, at least. And that's no offense to Wildcard. That's just how good these teams are at this LAN. And also, OCE didn't help themselves by getting knocked out, both teams, by APAC last event. Next up at number 12, this might be one that you guys disagree with, but I was not impressed by Team Secret in Birmingham. I don't know about you guys, but I just wasn't impressed. So this is KV1, Mata, and Swift. My main reasoning, they stank it up in Birmingham. I don't think you can argue with that. I'm choosing to believe they will play better in Raleigh because they have beaten Furia. They've taken a series off Furia. They won a regional one time. So you would think they at least have higher capabilities than what they showed in not in Raleigh, in Birmingham. They have beaten Furia this season, and Sam just talked about that. They have talent, but need to get it together at LAN. Will that happen? I don't think so, based on what we saw in Birmingham. It might be better. I'm assuming hopefully it'll be better because they have some experience from Birmingham, but I don't know. I'm not feeling great about Team Secret going into this. We'll see, though. They could surprise us. Next up at number... Okay, I forgot. Huge gap. This is true, guys. But after you go through these teams, Foot Esports, TSM, Virtus Pro, Wildcard, Team Secret, there is, in my opinion, a huge gap. I know they're all pros, but like, once I get into this top 11 here, this is where you guys are going to, first of all, start to disagree with me heavily, I'm sure. And then I do want to clarify, this isn't where I think teams stand currently. This isn't an online power rankings. This is how I think teams will do at LAN based on, okay, so for example, you have players like Monkey Moon, First Killer, players who typically play well on LAN. That had impact in the making of my power rankings, and you're going to see that here showing up pretty soon. But yeah, I basically think that these next teams, the next 11 here, they all could seriously, if they peak, they could win the LAN. I really do think that's possible for the whole entire next 11 teams. This is the first major that's ever been able to be said, and this is truly the most stacked major of all time. But anyway, we have huge gap, and then we have number 11. This is going to make some people mad. But Gentlemates Alpine, and I think I explained this pretty well here, as well as I can. This is Juicy, Seiko, and Eugen. I know that Juicy won a major MVP last season. Seiko's proven on LAN. but Eugen is the big thing that stands out to me. I'm not too sure what we'll see out of them. But they did not win a single regional last year, and they won a major last year, so who knows? My main reasoning, no idea how they will do on land, mainly questions around Eugen. I just don't know what we're going to see out of them at land. We assume Juicy and Seiko will perform, but haven't seen them on land this season, and I think that's a fair point too. We have, like, for example, Genji, you might have noticed they're a team that I'm going to have ahead of them. Genji, we've seen Magic Bear and Cheese on land this year, and they did pretty well. Juicy and Seiko have always done well on land, but to be fair, we haven't seen them on land this season, so you never know. Things can change a lot in a season, but you'd assume that Gentlemates is going to do very well. In fact, I think that I believe 11, 10, and 9 teams, they can all, or my 10th, 11th, and 9th, my 9th, 10th, and 11th teams can all honestly be kind of interchanged in my opinion. Yeah, I basically have them here because we haven't seen any of them on land yet. Top 8 is very possible, could finish 9th to 12th, or could make the top 4 or better. I really do think that's possible, and that's true for the rest of the teams here. I apologize to any Gentlemates fans for this ranking, but I think it's honestly justified. And honestly, all the Gentlemates fans speak French, I'm pretty sure, so I should be all right. But anyway, next up at number 10, I have Twisted Minds, and you guys might be surprised that I have them in front of Gentlemates, but I honestly think if they play Gentlemates, it's basically a coin toss, first of all, but I think for some reason, in my mind, I think Twisted Minds would beat them. I don't know why, but I just think they would. Anyway, they did make top 8 at the last major too. That's probably part of why, and I think they looked very good. But my main reasoning, very talented team. You have Nupo, you have Rise, and you have Atomic, and also, people are sleeping on Rise. I think people are forgetting how good Carmine Corp was last season with Rise. The only reason people forget, I think, is because they didn't win a major, but they were still, in my opinion, like, when they were playing well, they were in the same tier with, like, the NRG and the Falcons and whatnot. I don't know why people act like Rise isn't this great player anymore. He's still very good. Nupo is, in my opinion, in, like, the same tier as your players with Drawley, Zen, best in the world type player. And then Atomic is just good at the game. So, I don't know why people are so low on this team. I get that they didn't win a regional or take any series off Falcons this split, but still. They're stacked, and they played well at the last land, so why would I necessarily doubt them at this one? But anyway, my main reasoning, very talented team, made top 8 in Birmingham, but they've been getting slapped by Falcons this split. Has Falcons stepped up, or has Twisted stalled out? That's a good question there. My power ranking here could be wrong if Twisted Minds is stalled out, but I'm assuming it's a thing where Falcons have they've probably picked up as the season's gone on, and Twisted Minds probably just can't quite keep up with that, because honestly, when Falcons are going, they're almost unbeatable. But anyway, top 8 is very possible. Also, guys, I will be making a predictions video for the Raleigh Major pretty soon here. So these power rankings, I'm hoping, will somewhat align with my predictions, but I'm not sure. Honestly, it could be completely different because these teams are all so close. It's just gonna depend on what my brain thinks. And yeah, that no one knows what that'll be. At number 9, we have Genji Mobile 1 Racing. I know that you guys might be surprised that I have them in front of Gentlemates and in front of Twisted Minds. But I really believe in Genji, and I really believe in Justin on land, even though he hasn't been in a while, and I really believe in the Genji system. But anyway, my main reasoning, Justin back on land. I think people are forgetting that every time Justin's been on land, I know it's been a while, but I'm saying I think it'll take like after one series, maybe after that NRG series, his jitters, he's going to feel like he's back in his prime probably. Maybe not back in his prime, but he's going to feel comfortable, I'm sure. I really do believe that. And I think that he's going to be coached well to feel comfortable on land. And Cheese and Magic Bear are going to feel comfortable too. They have lots of land experience now at this point. But anyway, I think people are forgetting how good Justin is on land. The last time he was at land, when NRG was completely falling off, as people would say, they made top 8 at the World Championship still that year. So I know that was a few years ago, but it still proves my point that Justin always performs well on land. And then Magic Bear and Cheese have lots of land experience now. Just touched on that a little bit. I'm a believer in Genji's system. They have a very real chance of making top 8. Always were close with Reddles. That's the other thing. I think Reddles is a very good player, but I think Justin is a great player. And I think when you put Justin on a team with Magic Bear and Cheese, who were already a land team, who were always making round 5 in Swiss, you'd think they have a chance of making top 8, and it's probably a significantly higher chance of making top 8. Honestly, I would assume that either at Worlds or at this land, they'll make top 8. It's just got to happen, I think. It's going to be really hard because this is a very stacked event, but I think it can happen. Next up at number 8, we have the team that I'm probably the most excited to see play on land besides Genji. I'm going to honestly be cheering on Genji at the land. But I'm excited to see this next team too, because they're unproven, and I could be overranking them, I could be underranking them. We have no idea. That's the thing. But basing on online play, this is the only team that I really let online play weigh into. It's Space Station Gaming. Kofor, Reveal, and Scribbles. We have no idea what we're going to see out of this team, but I'm choosing to believe that they're going to play somewhat similarly to how they do online. And they also have XPierre as their coach, and XPierre coached Team Liquid, so I think he's going to know how to coach them and hopefully how to get them in the right place mentally to play the game at the highest level. But anyway, main reasoning, they're ridiculously talented. Super excited to watch them play. I am choosing to believe they will play well. Genuinely can be any team here if playing well. If they have land jitters, it'll be trouble, which is true. If they have land jitters, it could be 9th to 12th or worse, but if they are comfortable after their first series or right off the bat, it's going to be trouble for the rest of the teams because this team is very good. The top 8 seems very reasonable for them. They own Ultimates regionally, earned number 2 seed in NA, and I wanted to put that in because even though Ultimates haven't been doing great this split online, it's still the Ultimates. They made number 2, or they got top 2. They made the grand final in Birmingham. They did get slapped by Carmine, but no one was beating Carmine. No one was touching Carmine in that event. Ultimates still made the grand final that major, and the fact that Space Station is comfortably beating them every single time they play them says a lot to me. It's First Killer, LJ, and Chronic. People can say whatever they want. Those are 3 extremely good players. If you are consistently beating that team, you can beat anyone in the world, and that's just the way it is. And when I say anyone, I mean the Carmines, the Falcons, the NRGs. It's just going to depend on their form, and also on those teams' form. I'm super excited to watch this team play. But anyway, number 7, we have Furia. I shouldn't have gone so fast to this one because this is one that is going to make people mad. I know that a lot of people talk about how they make top 4 every single time, but there's just something about it. I don't know. I think at some point this top 4 streak is going to crumble. It's been the last 2 events now, Worlds and then the Birmingham Major. I just don't think it's going to continue. But anyway, Furia, this is Drafinho, Lost, and Yan. Main reasoning, made top 4 in Birmingham. I still have my doubts when they play teams better than them or more structured. Can beat anyone here if they peak. I see this major being much harder for them to make a top 4 at. That's the main thing too. You have NA sending their best teams. I think it's just going to be harder for them because usually it's 4 really good EU teams. It's still 4 really good EU teams. And then it's like 2 good NA teams. And then the other 2 NA teams are like, oh, well, this is like a 1 and 3, maybe 2 and 3 team. Now you have 2 other NA teams going that could make the top 8. So it's going to make it harder for teams like Furia that could get knocked out by those teams. And in my head, if you put like a Vitality, even though they beat Vitality somehow like every time that they play them in the playoffs, if you take like a Vitality or an Ultimates or even a Space Station or definitely like a Falcons or an NRG, just teams who are structured, in my eyes, more structured than them, most of the time they should lose that series. And even at Birmingham, when they ended up beating Vitality, Vitality had them handled in the first 2 games and then they just crumbled. I don't know why, but Vitality was hot and then they just crumbled. So, and it was also after they lost to Ultimate, so I think they were mentally a little bit shocked. I think if Furia catches Vitality a little bit earlier on, they're just gonna get slapped out. And that's my opinion, but I really do think Furia still struggles against structured teams, even though Furia is becoming a lot more structured themselves. I know they're making top 4 at LAN. You're probably like, how are you saying they're not structured? There's just something about Furia to me that doesn't seem as structured, I guess. I know I keep saying structured, but as the EU and NA play styles, and I think the EU and NA play styles are just better at breaking them down and making them lose when they can match their pace and match their level or make them play how they want to play. That's the big thing. Usually the NA and EU teams who are really good at the game make them play the way that they want them to play, and it just makes Furia lose. And that's a structure thing in my opinion. But anyway, yeah, I have Furia at number 7. That's going to make some people mad. I apologize to any Furia fans out there. Number 6, this is another one that's going to make people mad. Guys, I apologize. These power rankings, it's just, I can't appease everybody with them. But anyway, Dignitas. This is apparently Jack, Jorez, and Stizzy. Bear with me here. My main reasoning, they're playing extremely well heading into this LAN. Will it continue? That's the thing. They went out 9th to 12th in Birmingham. I know they took a series off of Carmine this split, but I don't know. Well, they won a regional this split, even in EU, which is very impressive. But is it going to happen at LAN? I don't know. I really don't. That's the big thing. Their 9th to 12th LAN finish in Birmingham worries me a little. Just touched on that. Clearly have improved since Birmingham. Grand final appearance or win is not out of the picture. That's the thing. Dignitas' ceiling is probably series to the grand final and maybe even a major win. But their floor, I could see them missing top 8. I think it could happen. I don't think it's likely. I'm not going to bet on them missing top 8. But I think it could still happen. So it's just really, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get from Dignitas. I want to see Dignitas do well. But still, man, having them at number 6, that means that if this carried over to my predictions, that's a top 6 prediction, which, I mean, what do you want from me? That's a good placement for him. But anyway, number 5, I have Team Falcons. This is Kalirs, Ruwas, and TRK 511. This is a very scary team when they're playing well. I think Birmingham is one of the worst you're ever going to see that team play, and they still got top 6, and they lost to NRG in Game 7. NRG wasn't playing great either, but still. The fact that NRG, I think that says a lot about NRG and Falcons, the fact they both placed that high not playing great. But anyway, my main reasoning, they seem to have improved this split. Basing on their perfect split, they slapped Twisted Minds and everybody else around. Still made top 6 in Birmingham despite poor performance. They lost to NRG, which is there's no shame in losing to NRG. In my opinion, I'm not going to spoil it yet, actually. Close to unbeatable when they are peaking. I expect them to make a top 6 or better at this LAN. And yeah, I think Team Falcons are going to step up at this LAN. I would not be shocked at all to see them make a top 4 or a grand final here. I don't know if my predictions will say the same, but I'm just saying I don't think it would be shocking. Top 8, it's got to be a guarantee for him, I would say. But who knows? This is a super stacked major. This could be one of the best majors of all time. It really could with the amount of stacked teams who are coming to this LAN. Now we're getting into the top 4. This is where you're probably wondering, where are some of these teams that you feel like should be lower at? Well, they're in the top 4, and Yeah, these are going to make people mad too. These are going to make people even more mad probably than the rest. Number 4, I have Team Vitality, and this is where LAN things start to take a toll, guys. Monkey Moon is Monkey Moon. He wins Worlds. He's a LAN player. Zen's a LAN player. Exotic's a LAN player. You get 3 LAN players on the same team. Every time they're at LAN, they play well. And also, First Killer, I was watching his stream one time after the Birmingham Major, and he said that he thought Vitality was playing the best at the LAN, and he made the grand final at the LAN and beat Vitality. So that says a lot too. When, in my opinion, when a player that is as good as First Killer, an S tier player, says that Vitality is the best team at that major in scrims, that says everything that I need to know. I have no worries about Team Vitality. I think they're going to come out, and people are saying like that they haven't been playing great online. They've made top 4 every single time in EU. They still make top 2s, top 3s in EU. I know they're not winning regionals, and that's what people want to see, but come on. It's Monkey Moon, Exotic, and Zen. This team, in my opinion, you're probably going to see them in the top 6. It's just going to happen. They're a LAN team. Every single time people doubt Monkey Moon or doubt... Why would you doubt... Okay, just look at the players, please. I don't know why they're being so doubted. I know that they've had a questionable online split, but every time they're at LAN, man, they perform, and I think they're going to perform again, and that's that. But anyway, main reasoning. They are a LAN team. If this was online power rankings, this would be different. That's the thing. If this was online power rankings, I wouldn't have them at number 4 in the world. But this is LAN power rankings. They're number 4 in the world, at least in my power rankings. I am choosing to believe that Monkey Moon and Exotic will step up, played extremely well in Birmingham, lost their polish after game 2 in their upper semis match against the Ultimates. That's the thing. If you guys watched that series, that upper semis match, that top 6 match to get into the top 4 that the Ultimates ended up winning, they steamrolled the Ultimates in those first 2 games. I don't know what happened that made the Ultimates somehow end up winning that series. And it also happened to Vitality against Furia. They ended up losing 4-2 after going up 2-0 and looking dominant. I don't know what was going on. I'm sure it was a mental thing, at least I would assume. But Vitality looked like, in my opinion, seriously, I thought Vitality was going to win the LAN. I really did. I thought it was either going to be Vitality or Carmine at that point. And then Vitality just kind of pooped the bed. Yeah, I think people are forgetting how good they looked at Birmingham. A LAN win or grand final appearance would not surprise me at all with Team Vitality. It's Monkey Moon, it's Zen, and it's Exotic. I don't know. If you want a LAN team, you're pretty much looking at it right there. In my opinion, if they don't perform here, I will not rate them as high the next time. Like at Worlds, I won't rate them as high if they perform very poorly here at this major. But I don't see a world. Like, do you guys really think they're not going to make top 6 of this LAN? Like, no one can look at me with a straight face and tell me that they're not going to make like at least probably a top 6. I don't know. Maybe I won't have them in my top 6 in my rankings or in my predictions, but I think it's extremely unlikely. I think they're going to make the top 4 or top 6. Next up, we have one that's probably going to make a lot of people even more mad. I just love how every pick is making people more mad, except for probably my number 2 and my number 1, because they're pretty obvious. But next up, we have the Ultimates. And I know that this is going to be pretty controversial, but it's Chronic, First Killer, LJ. Main reasoning, placed 2nd in Birmingham. I believe NA has stepped up. That's a big thing. I think that this weighs heavily into that. And because of the Ultimates placing number 2 at the major, I'm choosing to believe that similarly to Vitality, they're LAN players. That's what I'm going to believe. And they play well online too. That's the other thing. They made top 4 multiple times in NA as well, obviously. Made a grand final. They're a very good team still online. But I'm choosing to believe that they're a better LAN team. So placed 2nd in Birmingham. I believe NA has stepped up. Them being the 4th seed is not bad. Like Vitality, I'm choosing to believe that they are a LAN team. A top 4 or better would not surprise me, but their form has been questionable lately. I won't deny that, but I am choosing to believe, again, that they're going to perform on LAN. If LJ and Chronic play well, they will place very highly. That's the other thing. First Killer, I have never seen that guy play bad. I'm not even joking. I've never seen First Killer play badly. LJ and Chronic, if they can play well, if they can mirror what they did in Birmingham, I don't know what's keeping them out of a top 4. Fourth Killer might be back. Now, next up at number 2, we have Carmine Corp. Just kidding. I know that would have made people mad. I should have done that just to make people even more mad for the Rage Bait rankings. But anyway, we have number 2, NRG. Not surprising. Atomic, Beast Mode, and Daniel. Main reasoning, in my eyes, they are the clear number 2 team in the world. That's the thing. I think that NRG and Carmine have kind of broken themselves off into their own tier. I think Carmine's even in a tier arguably still above NRG. But I think that NRG is like in their own spot too at number 2. And then there's just kind of everybody else. Everybody else is close. But I think NRG, when they're playing well, and Carmine, when they're playing well, they're not going to lose to anybody but each other. They really shouldn't. That's my opinion, at least. Number 1 seed out of NA, while NA seems to have gotten much better. Their worst placement at LAN since becoming a team is top 4. This is a huge thing in my eyes, too. This is a LAN team, by the way. I know that people don't, that they play well online, too, but this is also a LAN team. Their worst placement at LAN since becoming a team is top 4. Worst placement. Just think about that. This team has been together since the beginning of last season. That's a year and a half ago, something like that. The worst they've done at 3 majors and Worlds is top 4. That's kind of mind-boggling. One time. It happened one time, by the way. I wrote that in here, so I had to say that again. The rest were grand finals. They've made grand finals what then? 3? Yeah, they've made grand finals 3 of the 4 times that they've been at 3 of the 4 lands over the last year and a half. They've made the grand finals. And the one time they made top 4. So I don't know. I just think you can't question NRG anymore. I think you almost have to expect them to make top 4. But you don't want to put too much pressure on a team. You don't want to make them expect that. But I think the NRG would tell you themselves that they think that they should be winning every event. So I don't think it's crazy to say that I will expect them to be in the grand final or to be a top 4 team. NRG making grands or winning would not be surprising. I think that NRG, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I think NRG and Falcons, when they're playing extremely well and peaking, might be, unless Dignitas can do it on land too, and Vitality maybe, and Ultimates maybe, which Ultimates got slapped around by him. I think that NRG and Falcons playing well might be the only teams that can beat Carmine when they're playing well. I'm not even kidding. I think Carmine is that good. But maybe teams have caught up. I don't know. You would think, you'd hope that teams have caught up and that Carmine's beatable. They've shown weaknesses, losing to Dignitas too. But yeah, to me, NRG, Falcons, and Carmine, when they're playing well, no one's beating them. That's my opinion. I think Vitality and Ultimate, stuff like that, they can be, teams like that can kind of be in that argument too, but NRG, Carmine, they're just insane. Next up at number 1, this isn't going to surprise anybody. We have Carmine Corp, Atau, Raleigh, and Vatira. Maybe this event, maybe this major will be called the Raleigh Major because it's the Raleigh Major, so the Raleigh Major. Okay, main reasoning. They are the clear number 1 team in the world until proven otherwise. They seem unbeatable. Nobody could touch them in Birmingham. That's not even a joke. Besides, honestly, wildcard in the first round, and then NRG looked good against them at first in that upper semis match, and then ended up losing. Or is that called upper quarters or upper semis? I don't know. I always call it upper semis. But anyway, besides wildcard and NRG, nobody looked like they could even touch them. So they're number 1 in the world until proven otherwise. Them winning seems inevitable. Does that not seem inevitable to anybody else? I don't know. In the back of my mind, I just feel like Carmine's going to win. I don't want it to happen. And it's not because I don't like Carmine. I just want to see different teams win. But it's almost like NRG last season, but like they almost feel more dominant than that. It's spooky. Can argue that they have the 3 best players in the world, although I personally do not believe that. I'm not saying that Atau and Vatira aren't great. I think you actually could argue that Vatira is the best player in the world. Same with Raleigh, obviously. I think Raleigh probably is the best player in the world. Vatira's right there, though. I don't see it necessarily with Atau. I think he's just on a team with 2 of the best players in the world, making him look like one of the best players in the world. But if I had to like make a tier, I guess, I'd have like Raleigh, Vatira, Zen, Nupo, kind of in their own category. And you might be able to throw like Daniel when he's on and Beast Mode when he's on in that same category as well. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting someone? Honestly, First Killer even, he could be in that category too. But yeah, Raleigh, in my opinion, is probably the best player in the world right now if I had to pick one. But yeah, man, this power rankings video makes me excited to make my predictions because I want to see how well it aligns. I want to see how my top 8 in this aligns with my top 8 in my predictions because I can guarantee you it's not going to be the same. I actually have no idea if that's true or not, but I would assume it's not going to be the same because things happen in bracket. Things just happen. It's Swiss. There's going to be matchups that are crazy. There's going to be team kills, so things are probably going to get interesting. I'm pumped for this major too, man. I can't believe how good all the teams are going to this major. Even the APAC team is not bad. Like the APAC team can't be slept on. The only team here that can be kind of slept on is Foot Esports. I don't think that they are going to be impressive necessarily. I think you guys would agree with that. I don't think we're going to see them. Yeah, I don't know why I'm still talking about Foot Esports. They're not going to do anything. But anyway, this is my major power rankings, and we got one more slide actually. Can't forget about it. Thank you for watching. But yeah, guys, down in the comments, definitely let me know what you think of my power rankings. I'm sure I'm going to get flamed a little bit. And I'm all for that. I love getting flamed because it doesn't matter what you guys say to me. I know that my power rankings are 100% correct. And anything else anybody else says is just a lie and rage bait. So, and like I said at the beginning, I'm champ 2 now. So my ball knowledge can't be argued against necessarily. But yeah, guys, seriously, down in the comments, feel free to let me know what you have your power rankings looking like top 8, top 16 even, what you disagree with on my list, what you agree with on my list, all that kind of stuff. I'd love to hear about it. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video. I will have a predictions video coming very soon. If not this weekend, probably sometime next week. Definitely before the major, obviously, but sometime next week at the latest. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.